Here we go.
Warcraft is directed by Duncan Jones. It is the live-action adaptation of one of the most popular video game franchises of all time, World of Warcraft. Now, depending on who you ask, I think I am the perfect person to see this movie. I really like Duncan Jones as a director. Moon and Source Code are two really cool, lesser-known sci-fi movies that I feel like are really unappreciated. I really like his directing, and I really know next to nothing about the lore and the story behind World of Warcraft. So because this movie started down here, it really could only impress me. It couldn't disappoint me because I didn't know anything, wasn't expecting anything, so it really could only build upon that. And I was ready to go on whatever ride Duncan Jones wanted me to go on. And I've got to say, I was pleasantly surprised with Warcraft. But that's not saying that this film doesn't have its problems, because it certainly has those. I'm actually impressed with what it showed me, and I actually had a fun time watching it throughout the duration of this film. Warcraft is about these two worlds. One world is inhabited by these huge monstrous orcs, and the other side is inhabited by humans. As a portal opens to connect the two worlds, one army faces destruction and the other army faces extinction. So these two heroes must form an alliance to stop the destruction and the war to save their families. That's pretty much the gist of this movie, because unfortunately it throws a ton of information at you. Some of it sticks, some of it you get, but then a majority of it is just... That's kind of what I expected, because the mythos and the lore of World of Warcraft is so vast and it's humongous that I imagine it's very difficult to condense all of that mythology into 2 hours. Now, I feel like I got the basic idea of this movie. I can tell you what happens, I can tell you why stuff happens, but I feel like the average moviegoer and the person who's just casually watching this movie isn't really going to catch everything, and I feel like a lot of it's going to go over their head. Now, there are some really exciting moments in Warcraft, but then there are also some really boring moments. There are some really cool action set pieces in this movie, but that's largely thanks to the special effects. The CGI in this film is really, really impressive, and it's a perfect example of how to use CGI as a tool and not as a crutch. Because if you were to try to do these orcs and use practical effects with doing them, it would look completely ridiculous, so you kind of have to use CGI in this movie. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the CGI, I watched a really cool BBC kind of news thing on the special effects and Industrial Light and Magic and how they did everything. So if you're interested in watching that, click on the link in the description and that'll take you there. But what they were able to accomplish with CGI in this film is absolutely extraordinary. But unfortunately, there aren't just really cool action set pieces. There are a lot of boring, dull moments. I think that's largely due because a lot of the performances by the human characters are very boring and wooden. And I think it's fair to say that pretty much every human character in this movie is completely disposable, and I really didn't give a crap about any of them. Dominic Cooper plays the king in this movie, and every single line from his mouth is so completely monotone and boring. I am the king, and I was in Captain America, the First Avenger. I must save my people. But there's this wizard character, and he's referred to as the Guardian, and I think his problem was entirely based on casting. I like Ben Foster, I really do, but he was a really poor decision and a weird decision as this character. I would have liked to have seen a Max von Sydow or an Ian McKellen type of actor portray the Guardian. Like, I think they should have went with some wise old man and not some like 30-year-old dude. What it comes down to is I really liked the majority of this movie. The orc characters were by far the most interesting plot, but unfortunately the human aspect and the wooden performances by the humans really drug it down for me quite a bit. But everything that wasn't human I really enjoyed, like Duratan, who was played really, really well by Toby Kebbell. This is a movie I would actually be welcome to a sequel with, because I actually want to see more of these characters. I want to see more of what goes on between these two very different realms. And especially because I don't know much about the World of Warcraft lore, I would be interested in learning more through these movies. And I can only assume that we're going to get one because the box office isn't so great in America right now, but in China this movie is absolutely just destroying records. So I think it's pretty likely that we could see a Warcraft 2 in the near future. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked today's video. I will try to get more of my reviews coming very soon. I'm going to try to knock these out as soon as I can. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, click a link down below, subscribe to my channel, see more movie reviews and movie related things. Again guys, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.